Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Xavier Walker, and I am so honored to welcome all of you to our 2022 Aatn breakfast. Yes, thank you. We are very, very excited to be here in a sold-out crowd this year. So give yourselves a round of applause for making that happen. I have the pleasure of introducing our MC for the morning. Originally from Chicago, Eddie Johnson attended the University of Illinois, where he played basketball and majored in history. In 1981, to the NBA, originally to the Kansas City Kings. Eddie played in the league for 18 years for 6 different teams, including our beloved Phoenix Suns. For 23 years, Eddie has been the color analyst for the Phoenix Suns, and he is on his 9th year as the co-host of the NBA Today show on Sirius XM Radio. Eddie has been married to his much better half, Joy, for 37 years, and they have 2 children, Justin and Jade. Eddie and Joy are very involved in our community and believe in the power of giving back. Currently and over the years, the Johnsons have dedicated their time, talent, and treasures to many organizations across the valley, including but not limited to Helping Hands for Single Moms, the Phoenix chapter of the Lynx Incorporated, the Arizona Foundation for Women, NPH USA, the Coalitions of Blacks Against Cancer, and of course, the Arizona Anti-Trafficking Network. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce to some and to present to Johnson.
That was nice of you. I mean, last year you kind of did a Richard Pryor on me before I got up here. First of all, thank you so much for allowing me to do this. This is my 2nd year doing this, and this is an event that I tremendously look forward to. Here's my get your attention moment, because I know he said something in my bio, right, that said that gets your attention, Phoenix Suns, okay? So it reminds me of a concert, and Prince was playing. And Prince was in transition from Purple Rain to jazz. And after paying for that $800 ticket, we're sitting there waiting on some Purple Rain. And we never got it, okay? And he gave us a little soliloquy. He gave us a little bit of tinge of everything. And that was supposed to satisfy us. So here's my Phoenix Suns moment before I start to talk about Aatn. Because I know you all are sitting there hoping and maybe wondering, Eddie, what's going on? So I want to get that out now so we can talk about some important stuff, and that's Aatn, okay? Is that good? All right, perfect. Now, yeah, we could have an owner that maybe will have Amazon on our jersey. We don't know, okay? Number 1. Number 2, Monty Williams loves DeAndre Aatn, all right? So get that out of your mind, okay? All right. All right, and Jay Crowder probably will not be here because he wants to start, but we're going to probably start Cam Johnson, all right? So we're done. Good. So, look, again, thank you, Xavier. I mean, Xavier asks me every year to do the event, and I love it. It's one of my favorite events to MC, and so I really look forward to it because Arizona Anti-Trafficking Network is extremely important. And we're all gathered here this morning to learn more about the mission of Aatn. And that's to eliminate human trafficking in Arizona by raising awareness, by reducing demand and fostering prevention efforts with youth. And by attending this breakfast this morning, each of you have taken the first step in helping to end sex trafficking across the state of Arizona. So give yourselves a hand. I hope that by the end of what promises to be a very timely program, now I have a wife trust me. She's going to be looking at me telling me to shut up. We have all learned more about the amazing work of Aatn and how each of us can get involved. At Aatn, the team is small but mighty. A little later on, we are going to hear about all that has been accomplished by each program over in the past year. It is truly incredible that this organization does all that they have with such a small team. At this time, I would like to recognize that team. Will the board and staff of Aatn please stand to be recognized? This group of people have dedicated their lives to this cause, and they work day in and day out to advocate for this issue. So thank you for all that you do, for planning this breakfast, for inviting me to participate and inform you on how wonderful this organization is. And so I would like now to introduce John Meza. John is the Aatn board president, and he's going to deliver some very special greetings this morning. John?
Let me put this down here. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. So I have the honor to recognize our honored guest. I have a little dilemma because I want to recognize my work boss, Nicole Davis, and my home boss, my wife. And I work from home, so that creates a problem at sometimes. But anyway, thank you for everybody for joining us in our second annual breakfast. It's great to see everybody. Just the energy this morning has been incredible. So, and I'll probably miss somebody, so I apologize for that. But I want to recognize General Counsel and Chief Governance Officer for DES, Nicole Davis. If you could just wave, and we'll save our. Obviously, my wonderful wife, who is Assistant Director of City of Mesa Lab and Communications. Misha Davis, President and CEO of the Arizona Foundation for Women. The Honorable Rosalind Silver, Senior U.S. District Judge, District of Arizona. The Honorable Ruth McGregor, former Chief Justice of the Arizona Supreme Court. Amy Lori Vanway, Commissioner of the Maricopa County Superior Court. Van Bayless, Acting United States Marshal, District of Arizona. David Gonzalez, recently retired U.S. Marshal for United States Marshal Service. Scott Brown, Special Agent in charge of Homeland Security Investigations here in Phoenix. Fred Moreno, Assistant Director, Arizona Department of Corrections, Rehabilitation, and Reentry. A wonderful friend, Maricopa County Sheriff Paul Penzone. Phoenix Councilman Jim Waring. Jeffrey Glover, Chief of Police for the Tempe Police Department. Brian Ramirez, Deputy Chief of Casa Grande Police Department. And in addition, we are incredibly fortunate to have many of our program partners with us here today. These are organizations that support the work that Aatn does year-round, over and beyond just this breakfast this morning. When you hear your organization's name, could you please stand and give a wave so we can recognize you? Arizona Complete Health. Arizona Foundation for Women. Desert Diamond Casinos. the Hickey Family Foundation. And all of you, we are so grateful for your continued partnership. At this time, I would like to now introduce Kenneth Porter, who is the chaplain for the Tempe Police Department. And Ken, will you please lead us in the invocation?
Yeah, it is Kenny. My mother called me Kenneth. Ken had this blonde thing going, and my wife now has gray hair. So, by the way, it's also easy to tell. Maybe some of you come from a Baptist background because you won't eat your food because it hasn't been blessed yet, right? With me in prayer as we ask a blessing. Almighty God and Heavenly Father, thank you for the beauty that we saw this morning in a sunrise. Before the shades went down, the green grass here. Father, you are good to us in what you have created. And yet, part of the reason we're here is we are able to really mess things up. So I thank you for taking care of the sparrows. You know about us. But I also thank you for the men and women that are here this morning in law enforcement, the part that they contribute in Aatn, that they are dedicated and serve long hours to stop and arrest those perpetrators who should not be doing what they're doing. So I thank you for them. I thank you for a system that handles those arrests, and your justice can prevail. But I also thank you for the men and women who labor with those victims through the various programs and agencies, that they show compassion and mercy and provide good counsel. So as we gather together here this morning as a group of individuals who desire to reach out in justice and in mercy, I pray that you would give those who wear the uniform and take care of that end of it, that you will give them wisdom and direction and clarity and perseverance in what they do. I thank you for the civilians and the different agencies, and again, the men and women. You will continue to give them wisdom and compassion, being able to say that love doesn't always say yes, but your mercy, the mercy they show, will abound. So I just thank you for the opportunity for this large group to get together and remember and to talk and to plan ahead. May you continue to show your love and mercy to everyone in this room. And I also thank you for the wonderful breakfast that's in front of us. At the end of the hour, may we be careful to give thanks, not just for the food, but for your love and your care and the way you work out love and justice and mercy. For it's in your name that I pray. Amen. By the way, it's wonderful to be the third tallest.
Also, doesn't it feel good to be in a room with all the law enforcement officers? I mean, I feel so protected. And I get to look at my good friend Paul Penzone the whole program. That's beautiful. Thank you, Ken, for that beautiful invocation. This amazing event sold out. It's sold out. It could not be possible without our sponsors. So while you're eating, I don't want to stop you from eating. You can start to eat. As I see my good friend Bob Goodman, he's just like, Eddie, be quiet. I'm eating right now. But I want to acknowledge all of our sponsors. First, our diamond sponsors. You can hold your applause to the end. First, our diamond sponsors, Bank of America, Core Civic, G6 Hospitality, the Hickey Family Foundation, and Nancy Baldwin. Thank you all for your leadership. Our platinum sponsors are Community Bridges, High Tech Network and Security Solutions, and Roger and Merlin Seaman. thank you so much for your support. Our gold sponsors are Albertson Safeway Foundation, American Medical Response, Arizona Complete Health, Girl Scouts Arizona Cactus Pine Council, Iron Bridge Wealth Council, National Bank of Arizona, Southwest Network, and Valley Leadership. Thank you all for your support. We would also like to thank our silver sponsors. They are Ballard Spar, Casa Grande, Public Safety Foundation, Glova, John Meza, Kendis, I hope I get this correct, Mashed, Mesa Police Association, and the Walker family, everyone for today's sponsor. So we'll now take a few minutes, obviously, to enjoy our breakfast. And while you are eating, volunteers will be notifying silent auction winners of their prizes. Please take the slip that you are given to the registration program concludes to collect your beautiful items. And please take a few minutes to visit with those at your table right now. It doesn't make any sense to sit and don't know who they are. I think what you're going to find out, if you stare at somebody long enough, we're all funny looking, so you might as well look at each other.
have so much psychological trauma from their trafficker. I would love to see where we have some legislation that allows us to try traffickers without the victims being re-traumatized. I think one of the biggest things you can do to get involved is to spread awareness. When you see a myth about human trafficking, call it out as a myth. I think the next thing is to get educated, attend a training. Aatn, we offer lots of free trainings in different capacities, and then donate. If you can't monetarily donate, donate with your time. We do hygiene drives, make backpacks for victims. Monetary donations are always great. That helps us send law enforcement or judges to training. There's lots of ways to help, and it's more than just money.
I am Nick Limbo, and I am the state coordinator for Just Men Arizona. Well, I mobilized men to fight in the issue of sex trafficking because we know 98% of the buyers, almost 99% of the buyers are men. So we feel like men create the demand, which is the demand for the product, and that men can also help stop that demand. So that's our issue, is to bring guys together to challenge other men to stop buying other human beings, because it is human trafficking. Believe it or not, 75% of the men that quit buying have done so because it conflicts with their moral values. And it almost sounds like an oxymoron. You wonder, do they have morals? But they do. And there's a lot of guys that are crossed that line that know they're doing something wrong. So when we're able to confront these guys and tell them, hey, look, you know these women are being forced against their will to have sex with you. They don't enjoy it. They don't get to keep the money. All of a sudden, a light bulb goes on, and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this.
My name is Michelle Rucker, and I'm the director of CEASE Arizona, which stands for Cities Empowered Against Sexual Exploitation. Our mission at CEASE Arizona is to eradicate sex trafficking in the state of Arizona by focusing on the demand for paid sex through awareness, prevention, education, and the disruption of commercial sex transactions online. There's a big perception out there that if you're going to buy sex, that you're not going to get caught. I mean, one of the goals of CEASE is to change that perception. If we can get buyers to understand that they're going to face consequences, they're less likely to buy. Right now, one of our big focuses is getting all cities in Arizona to become CEASE designated, which means that all city governments will have at least 75% of all of their employees trained on how to identify and report human trafficking.
My name is Marilyn Seaman, and I'm one of the co-founders of CSI, our Community School Initiative.
Hi, I'm Shannon Tiffany, and I am the program coordinator for Aatn, and I work with Marilyn Seaman with CSI.
When we became aware of the extent to which children were at risk of being trafficked 8 years ago, Nancy Baldwin and I put our heads together, and we decided that we covered all the different bases, but we hadn't covered prevention. And the kids who were most at risk were the who were suffering poverty.
We feel like our mission is to educate, protect, enrich,
Empower, build self-esteem for the children.
I mean, they get a full meal every single day. They get money, they get gifts, they get surprises, they get trips. It's an enticing way for kids to spend the after-school hours versus on the street.
Even though CSI is done, and they're done with 8th grade at Children's First Leadership Academy, that they can get in touch with us anytime, and we're there for them.
Hi, I'm Chris Glover, and I'm the program director for the Arizona Anti-Trafficking Network, and I run the Safe Action Project. The Safe Action Project began in 2013. Their goal was to create a program geared towards the travel, hospitality, and tourism industry to train hotel workers on the warning signs of sex trafficking. So it's important that we train these hospitality workers so that they can be on the lookout to know what they're looking for and know how to save those that are in need. Our goal and our mission at the Arizona Anti-Trafficking Network is to raise awareness, to reduce demand, and to foster prevention efforts in youth in our communities so that we can ultimately bring an end to human trafficking in Arizona.
What an inspiring video. Hope you're enjoying breakfast. Please continue. We're going to continue our program. I would like to now introduce Nancy Baldwin. Nancy is the executive director and trustee of the Hickey Family Foundation. Nancy is also the board treasurer and co-founder of Aatn. Nancy?
Thank you, Eddie. Last year, I described the lanes of Aatn and the focus of each program. We've included a sheet at your table so that you can follow along as I recap the highlights of what we accomplished over the past year. And your support has played an important part of this. First is CSI, Community Schools Initiative, our after-school prevention program at Children First Leadership Academy. We had 15 7th and 8th graders in the program for the fall and spring semesters last year. We had a chef come in once a week, and he showed the kids how to make simple yet nutritional meals at home. St. Mary's Food Bank provided backpacks with food for the weekends, and Changing Hands Bookstore gave us books for the youth. Other community members made presentations on human trafficking awareness, internet safety, gangs, healthy relationships, and bullying. Field trips were made to the University of Advancing Technology and the Musical Instrument Museum. Each student got their food handler's card, which allowed them to bake and sell cookies under our Cookies for Change program. The money raised was used for their year-end celebration lunch at Cheesecake Factory. The 8th graders were all enrolled for 9th grade before the school year ended in the district high schools. Trust, Training and Resources United to Stop Trafficking, our community outreach and training program, began training staff and administrators at the Mesa Public School District alongside Mesa PD. After 2 of these trainings, there were disclosures from district staff about suspected sex trafficking situations that were then handled by Mesa Police. Trust sponsored 61 law enforcement officers, prosecutors, judges, and advocates from around the state to attend the annual Shared Hope Just Conference in Washington, D.C., and officers from Phoenix, Scottsdale, Chandler, Tempe, Casa Grande, and Yavapai County to attend the International Association of Human Trafficking Investigators Conference. Trust also sponsored 3 Phoenix officers to go to the Dallas Crimes Against Children Conference. Trust also participated in several outreach operations with ASU's Sex Trafficking Intervention Research Program, Phoenix PD, and Mesa PD to provide backpacks filled with hygiene items, food cards, and clothing articles for victims who met with service providers about help that could be provided if they decided to. Stacy Sutherland, Trust Program Director, also presented sex trafficking awareness to all 24 of Scottsdale PD's patrol briefings, some even as early as 5 a.m. All of this was accomplished along with tabling at conferences and open houses and making over 87 presentations to community members in large and small gatherings, in person or via Zoom. The Safe Action Project trained staff on the signs of sex trafficking at hotels, casinos, tourism, and direct marketing organizations. Often, trafficking might be taking place in a hotel. Staff are unaware of what it looks like. SAFE offers in-person, virtual, or online training, so management has many opportunities to get their employees trained. In partnership with the Attorney General's Office and Homeland Security Investigations, this past year, SAFE certified 9 hotels and organizations after having trained 75% of their employees. SAFE also recertified 14 properties during the past year and is in the process of training others here in the Valley, in Tucson, and even on the Navajo Nation. SAFE will continue to reach out to hotels locally surrounding events planned for the trifecta of potential sex trafficking in early 2023, when the Barrett-Jackson Auto Auction, Waste Management Open, and Super Bowl will all be happening here within weeks and days of each other. Just Men Arizona encourages man-to-man conversations about harms and myths surrounding sex buying. We have 5 small groups of men from Phoenix, Tucson, and Sedona who've come to understand the devastation caused by sex buying. Mostly communicating by text, they briefly pretend to be a sex provider until the opportune time to confess that they're acting as a decoy. They explain that they noted the buyer's phone number and it might be provided to law enforcement, which is often enough to keep the guy on the line because he wants to know how much trouble he might be in. The conversation continues with the team member explaining that the idea of buying sex is a victimless crime or that guys are helping the victim by paying for sex are just myths. Yeah, sometimes the response gets rude, but at the very minimum, it's disrupted the purchase attempt. At best, it's a warning that the behavior is risky and could potentially escalate to unfortunate consequences. Our Just Men patrols estimated that in 1 month recently, they disrupted 81 sex buying attempts. I'm excited because CEASE, Cities Empowered Against Sexual Exploitation, was relaunched this year. CEASE is a key program focused on disrupting sex trafficking and is tended to improve public understanding of the demand for paid sex and how it leads to victimization of the most vulnerable people in our communities. We intend to work with city governments to tighten city codes and ordinances to make penalties for buying sex riskier and more expensive, thereby discouraging the behavior. CEASE will educate leadership in cities across Arizona to encourage them to become CEASE designated, meaning that at least 75% of city employees have been trained on the signs of sex trafficking. We're excited the first CEASE designated city in Arizona this past summer. This past year has been amazing. We're a small but mighty team. Our trainings by Trust, SAFE, and CEASE are all offered free of charge and CS 7th and 8th graders that we support. None of this could have happened without the financial support we've received from you, our donors and friends in the community, and we thank you very much. Just getting it ready for you, Eddie. Here you go.
You've informed us so well. You just go take a break. Again, thank you, Nancy, for informing us. Our keynote speaker. Now, I have to admit, this morning I was antsy about just one thing, and this is pronouncing this wonderful name that he has. So it's almost like me getting the last opportunity to make a game-winning basket, right? You get a little nervous. I was really nervous, so I called him in. We had about 10 people right here trying to figure out, the correct pronunciation. And so we had a good time with it, and Peter was very good about it. Peter Qualiotin is currently coordinating modeling equality. That's right, you know that's right. You sound like Codfish Simmons right there. I had a flashback. No, he's currently coordinating modeling equality, a project devoted to catalyzing the creation and implementation of policies and practices across multiple sectors that address commercial sexual exploitation through a man's accountability lens. Peter is a pioneer in his field. He has been working to promote men's accountability and end commercial sexual exploitation and other forms of gender-based violence for over 30 years. In the early 1990s, he co-founded the Sexual Exploitation Education Project in Portland. That's in Oregon for you all. Where he created one of the first sex buyers intervention programs in the country. During that time, he also worked with the Portland Women's Crisis Line to integrate the issue of commercial sexual exploitation into a comprehensive middle and high school program to prevent gender-based violence. In 2012, he co-founded the Organization for Prostitution Survivors, OPS, with Noel Gomez in Seattle, As OPS Director of Men's Accountability, he launched a 10-week sex buyers intervention program stopping sexual exploitation and co-coordinated the groundbreaking ending of exploitation collaborative of King County. Peter, welcome.
Behind you.
Because of my height, I get a special microphone. Thanks for that introduction. Got a couple inches on it. Yeah, I have been doing this work a long time. It's been over 30 years since I've been working on issues of commercial sexual exploitation. But I got my start not knowing that this was what my life's work was going to be doing. I got my start working on issues of domestic violence, actually. And I was working on issues of domestic violence because I grew up in a domestic violence household. And because I realized pretty early on that although my father's violence became a problem for my mom and my siblings and myself, it was really his problem. Does that make sense? It was his inability to deal with the frustration, the anxiety, the perceived criticism, and his feelings of entitlement to take it out sideways on the people around him, on the people who loved him, who he loved. And as I got older, I saw that this wasn't just happening in my household, that it was happening in many households. And when it was happening, it was primarily men who were doing these types of violence. Most men didn't do them, but when they were done, they were being done by men. As I got older still, things happened like my sister came to me and told me she'd been sexually assaulted on a date. Other female friends of mine started disclosing sexual assaults to me. Female and male friends of mine started talking to me about the sexual abuse they'd experienced as kids. Again, primarily at the hands of men. Not exclusively, but primarily. Not all men do these types of things. Most men don't. Not all men do these types of things, but all men can do something to engage other men to stop gender-based violence and commercial sexual exploitation. This is especially important when we're talking about buying commercial sex. In 2011, I was fortunate enough to co-author a study with Melissa Farley, and we looked at 100 men in Boston who bought sex and compared them with 100 men in Boston who didn't buy sex. And we got a lot of interesting data out of the study, but there's one particular point I wanted to talk to you about today. That's, of the men who did not buy sex, many of them said it was okay for those that did. I don't buy sex because I don't have to. Right? Not, I don't buy sex because it's an abuse of power and a form of sexual misconduct. Can you see the problem sex buying does not limit itself just to the particular individual who's purchasing these acts. It extends to men as a class and a view of sex as transactional rather than relational. I was on a call recently with some judges in a Midwestern city that I won't mention, and I was talking to them about the 10-week sex buyers intervention program that we do, and I was talking to them about some of the quotes that I got from sex buyers about that class and about their sex buying. And one of them was talking about why he bought sex, and his excuse was, we all pay somehow. And then I look at the screen of the Zoom call, and I see one of the judges is laughing and nodding his head as if to say, sure we do, bro. And in that moment, what I recognized is that this idea of transactional sex being okay, rather than mutual sex being the ideal, it's a problem that extends way, way beyond just the purchase of commercial sex. We can look at sexual harassment, we can look at sexual assault, we can look at these means that men think that we're entitled to pay for sex because I bought you dinner. Because we've been going out for 6 months or 6 weeks. Because we're married. Because I paid. rather than this idea of mutuality, that we share power and we engage in this activity truly consensually through a modality of power with the other rather than power over, which is about the objectification and dehumanization of that other. First time the sex buyers walk in, they're usually apt to say, I didn't do anything wrong, this is not my fault. And one way that they dodge accountability is to blame the person who this has happened to, right? To blame the person who's been exploited. Well, some women choose to do this. Some girls want to do this. I didn't do anything wrong. And what I always say to them is, how could you possibly know? You're paying to not hear the truth about this situation. Suppose you pick up a girl on the internet or on the track, and she's 15 years old, and you ask her, how old are you? What will she say? 18 or 21. And suppose she has a pimp, and you ask her, do you have a pimp? What will she say? No. And suppose the last thing she wants to do is be with this creepy middle-aged guy, but you ask her, do you like what you do? What is she going to say? Oh yes, baby, I love it. It's called a trick for a reason. It's called a trick because he's paying for the illusion of consent. It's called a trick because he's paying to not hear about her lived experience, which child sexual abuse, being a member of a marginalized group in more than one way, having limited economic resources and getting funneled into a life of commercial sexual exploitation, where her choices have been extremely limited. And besides, the issue of choice is a red herring. We have to look at the conditions under which choices are made. And the way that I drive this home to the sex buyers is often to say to them, for instance, you group of court-mandated men, 12 of you in this room today, you all chose to come to this class. And they look at me and they say, we didn't choose to be here. And I say, oh, somebody with more power than you told you that you were going to have some negative consequences unless you came to this class. And so you looked at it and you said, well, I got a shitty choice or a shittier choice. I think I'll go to the Stopping Sexual Exploitation class. And I always thought we should put on the brochure, come to SSE, the less shitty choice. Ones who have the choice of the buyers, that's where the choice lies. When called into account for the harm they've caused, they do the dodge that lots of men who commit domestic violence or sexual anger at somebody else. Before we started today, I was having a conversation out in the foyer with someone, and I was talking about this incident that happened in one of our sex buyers class one time. Many men buy sex the first time when they're in the military or in a fraternity or a sports team or another all-male sort of situation they find themselves in. And this guy that was in the military was in the class, and we'd come back, I think it was week number 3, and he said, I asked him, have you thought about what we talked about last week? And he said, yes, I have, and I've got to tell you, the first time I bought sex was when I was in the military. The other guys were going out, they were giving everybody who didn't go a really hard time. I didn't want to go, but I just went and I did it. I didn't even like it, but I just kept doing it. And then I came home, and I kept doing it, and I don't know why, I think there may be something wrong with me. And I patted myself on the back program. But then the really important thing happened. A guy across the room chimed in, and he said, wait a second, don't be too hard on yourself, buddy. Whenever I start to think like that, I just blame the women. Because if they weren't out there buying, we wouldn't, or if they weren't out there selling, we wouldn't be out there buying. And I just thought that was such a perfect indication of what happens in these situations. So somebody has a pang of conscience and starts to come to accountability around the way they've exploited others, and somebody else, another guy across the room winks at him and says, no, buddy, don't go there. And I think as men, we have to have the courage to go there. We have to have the courage to call one another in to account for the harm that happens through not just commercial sex and the purchase of commercial sex, but transactional sex. You know, again, if we think about sexual harassment and quid pro quo sexual harassment, that's all about transactional sex, right? If we think about the Me Too movement, if I've learned anything from Me Too over the past, that sexual activity should not be a condition of employment. Activity should not be a condition of employment. Then sexual activity should not be a condition of employment. And it's simply not okay to say, oh, not this white middle-class woman in the workplace, this professional person, like that shouldn't be her job. Oh, about that youth of color on the streets with no other option. Transactional sex is the problem. What is the response? How do we respond to this? What do we do? How do we engage men and boys to stop commercial sexual exploitation, all forms of gender violence, and help co-create a world that's worth sharing? Is the question that I've been working most of my adult life on. And I've been failing miserably. Unfortunately, I think that we have yet to really be able to crack the code on how we do this work and how do we engage other men. But what I have done is learn a lot of things that I think point the direction. We need a lot of folks to help get us there. But there are two things that I think that we need to keep in mind when we're talking about commercial sexual exploitation and what to do about it. The first is that we need a coordinated response. We need to have programming, certainly exit programming for youth and exit programming for adults who are exploited. But we also need to have integrated into that work a robust men's engagement program that happens along a continuum, a spectrum of prevention. You know, they call me the sex buyers class guy, or the John School guy. When cities contact me and talk about having John schools, a lot of times the first question I say is, what are you doing about prevention? We know that most men buy sex in their early 20s. Wouldn't it be great if we were engaging them when they were in college or trade school? Wouldn't it be great if integrated into middle school and high school programming to prevent dating violence and sexual assault if they also talked about commercial sexual exploitation? One of the programs I'm most excited about right now is in San Diego, which was also a CEAS network city. They're doing a program with fourth grade boys that's around social and emotional learning. After school programs for fourth grade boys, which is amazing because it's not just going to prevent these kids from buying sex when they grow up. It is going to prevent dating violence. It's going to prevent sexual assault. It's going to prevent gun violence. It's going to prevent bullying. It's going to prevent the epidemic of men shooting ourselves. And then suicides as well. Because there's a crisis in terms of the way that we identify as men in the world. Through those power over modalities being shut down, guys who need to have control of things, versus being resilient with our feelings, being able to grieve and come back, being relational, being able to fail, being able to admit when we failed, being able to come clean when we've done bad things, not punish ourselves or other people for them. So there's a whole lot of work that can be done with individuals along that spectrum of prevention. And the other thing is we need to change the culture. And there are tools to do that too. If we think about social ecological models that are often used in public health, they recognize that things like sex buying are an individual problem for people, but they're also social problems. It's hard and overwhelming when we think about, well, how do we change social norms around these issues? But what the social ecological models do for us is to break it down so that we can look in the realms of relationships, interpersonal relationships, in the realms of the communities that we're a part of, in the realms of the institutions that we're a part of, within the larger society. Are there ways that we can leverage our power in order to change the norms within those contexts? Things like you're doing engaging the business community are doing just that. Things like we're doing when we're doing work in schools are about doing just that. So there's a whole lot to do, and there's a whole lot of hope in this approach of viewing commercial sexual exploitation as a form of gender-based violence and inequality. And the solution of promoting men's accountability in order to deal with this problem, because in the end, it's going to be the best for all of us. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Peter, for those moving remarks. We truly appreciate your support and your willingness to take your time and share your experience with us this morning. At this time, we are here to present the 2022 Arizona Anti-Trafficking Network Game Changer Awards. And I'm gonna have John and Nancy join me for this award ceremony. So the word game changer, it's a noun, it's an event, an idea, a procedure that affects a significant shift in a current manner of doing or thinking of something. The purpose of this award is to recognize an individual for their commitment to and excellence within the field of human trafficking and or the response. It's critical to recognize professionals living a mission to help individuals through challenging systems, heal from sexual trauma and relationship violence, identify their internal power and potential, improve services, policies, and procedures. This award creates a standard of excellence within the anti-trafficking field, and we'll recognize exemplary colleagues in our world of human trafficking prevention, advocacy, and response. Our Game Changer honorees this year should be a complete surprise, although I'm sometimes very bad at keeping a secret, especially if I'm excited about it. So if you are an awardee, please come up on stage and help us congratulate the following recipients. Our first Game Changer is a dedicated service provider who is intuitive, thoughtful, and willing to call things as she sees them. We don't have time to beat around the bush in this field. She's a committed team and has an empathetic approach to those she helped in her programs. She put her heart and soul into the work and was a gift to people that she served, which included holding the men accountable. She served in this capacity for almost 21 years, and she has recently retired. Congratulations to Kathy Bauer. Our second Game Changer is best described as an anchor. She values every person that comes in front of her and gives them a hand up and not a handout. I'm already getting emotional. She's a phenomenal service provider. She was the catalyst that got anti-trafficking organizations to meet regularly and helped establish the great working relationships we have today. As a servant leader, she has an undeniable sense of purpose. It was bittersweet when she was selected to lead the Short Creek Dream Center. We miss her in the valley so much, but we know how much her work is making a difference up in Short Creek. Congratulations to Constance Meredith. Surprise. Our next Game Changer is a dynamic and fierce woman. I think we have a theme this year. She's brutally honest, meticulous, dependable, and always quick to help. To say she's organized would be an understatement. She's very passionate about human trafficking and is phenomenal at balancing a workload. Without her guidance and support, operations would not run as Mesa Heat Unit and the entirety of East Valley operations. You may even call her the OG of the Mesa Heat Unit. Congratulations to Kathleen Noriega. I gotcha. Are you shocked? Are you surprised? Our next Game Changer is very passionate about human trafficking and makes herself available in a multitude of ways. She's always eager to help educate others on the topics of human trafficking. She is an integral part of our collaborative program that provides support through mentorship to juvenile survivors of human trafficking, as well as other young women in the community. Because of her passion for her job, she has never turned down a case, a call out from law enforcement, or failed to respond to somebody who needed help. The difference in these juvenile cases. Words cannot express how grateful we are. Congratulations to Shauna Parker. Our next game changer is a detective who is a hard charger and has never complained, well, at least to me, about his large caseload. He is an advocate for collaboration with other agencies, NGOs, and service providers, and he is always willing to lend a hand. Education applies those techniques to be a better investigator. He has recently worked a large profile case on a trafficker that has led to the recovery of 5 juvenile victims. Congratulations to Mesa PD Detective Jason Swag. Our final Game Changer Award goes to someone who has contributed a lot to our anti-trafficking movement here in Arizona and is a woman of many starfish bracelets. Yesterday, she said something that really resonated with me. Innovation takes bravery. This award is for that bravery and thinking outside of the box to reach victims. I want to take a moment to highlight the uniqueness of what we have dubbed Stop Outreach, Sex Trafficking Outreach Project, which would have not been possible without her and her sometimes crazy ideas. This is a partnership between the City of Phoenix, the Phoenix Human Exploitation and Trafficking Unit, ASU Sister, and a variety of NGOs and service providers that are in this room today. We encounter victims of human trafficking through a variety of venues, and we offer services right in that initial contact with victims. This outreach wouldn't have come to fruition if you didn't have your crazy idea. So the point is, be brave, put those ideas out there, be innovative. That's how we're going to battle human trafficking. Congratulations to Dominique Grosepowicz. Gotcha.
Another round of applause for all of our Game Changer Award honorees this morning. Stacy does a really great job of keeping that a secret, so I hope all of you were surprised. So for those of you who attend a lot of nonprofit fundraisers in the Valley, you know the age, because that means when it's time to open your wallets, and I'm up here to ask you to make a gift to this wonderful organization. In the middle of your table, there's giving envelopes that look like this, and we hope you'll all join us today in making a donation to the Arizona Anti-Trafficking Network. A gift to AATN means police officers, attorneys, and judges are educated on this important work. A gift to AATN means that government agencies, cities, and towns across the state of Arizona have the tools they need to prosecute these crimes. A gift to AATN means thousands of hotel and hospitality industry employees know what to look for and report often when sex trafficking is happening right at their own properties, right in front of their own eyes. A gift to AATN means undercover patrols can stop men from attempting to buy sex from 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old girls right at point of sale. A gift to AATN means that the most marginalized, vulnerable children in our community have a safe place to go after school, have food to eat during out-of-school time on nights and the weekends, and have an opportunity to have a chance at life that they otherwise wouldn't have. They have a chance to not be a victim of sex or human trafficking. They have a chance to leave their mark on the society. A gift to AATN means that when the Super Bowl comes into town next year, early 2023, our community is armed and ready to provide resources and tools because we know that the Super Bowl is one of the highest sex trafficked events in the world every year, and it's coming right here to Phoenix. And so we hope that you all will give and give generously. I'm very excited to announce that the board, who stood up earlier, of AATN has agreed to match all of your gifts today, dollar for dollar. So those of you that give 500, it's like giving 1,000. For those of you like Brenda Blunt who gives 10,000, it's like giving 20,000. So I would encourage all of you to give and give generously, and consider all of those different programs that Nancy talked about. All of those can be, you can designate your gift to one of those programs or make a gift to our general operating support. But we thank you for being here, and we thank you for your generosity. After you complete your pledge cards, you can give them to your table host or your table captains, or there will be a basket at the registration table. You can drop them in on the way out. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're at the end of our program. There's one more piece of business we got to take care of, okay? And so we have a live auction. So get ready. Yeah. Now, we have 3 exciting items for you, okay? Now, first up, for you adventuresome individuals, a helicopter ride. Yeah, how many has adventure in their hearts? Raise your hand. Huh? How many? No one has adventure in their hearts right now? Now hold it. After we was locked up for how long? Watching TV, binge watching shit. Helicopter ride for 1 passenger, donated by the Mesa Police Department. Okay, it comes with requirements. So I can't. The requirements are over 18. I'm barely over 18. You can't be over 265 in pounds, and this is where I can't because the maximum height of 6'5". So I'm 6'8". So I'm disappointed, even though you might not think I'm very adventuresome. So we're going to start the bidding at $200. Okay, and again, this is all in support of Aatn. And so I want you to just think about it. Huh? Yeah, helicopter ride. Who's interested? We're going to start at 200. There's 200 right there. There's 200 right there. Do I have 250? Huh? I got 2 250s right there. Okay, do I have 300? Oh, there's a 300 right there. Do I have, I'm start going hundreds then because it's going really fast. 400. Anybody for 400? Helicopter ride. Come on, they give you the headphones, you can put them on, you know, you can enjoy it. Look at the valley. Yeah, doors are off. So you air conditioning while you're up there. 400, all right. Anybody for 500? Anybody for 500? There we are for 500, 500. Oh yeah, everything's going good here. About 600, 600, 600. It's always been my, like, you know, I was a basketball player. I'd love to be a singer. I can't sing. I want to be an auctioneer. Where is it? Where is it? $600. Okay, let's go 200 now. $800. $800. Anybody? Come on now. They might even let you fly it a little bit. Who knows? $800. $800. Anybody?
He's 600.
Oh, where?
He's already 600.
You're already at 6. Well, you just want to go 800. Wow. I'd like to own a clothes. I'd like to go to a clothing store like that. $800. $800. Anybody for 1,000? Anybody for 1,000? $1,000? Huh? Going once? Anybody? Going twice? $800.
It's another helicopter that's donated by Phoenix.
Right. Now, Phoenix wasn't going to let Mesa get the best of them. Come on now. We're all competitive here. Even though we're very close together, we're competitive, right? So this is another helicopter ride donated by the Phoenix Police Department. And this is a competition, without a doubt. But for this package, you can bring someone. Yeah, ooh. But you got to pass the background check, all right?
Brenda, you're out.
Nobody can get up in the helicopter and all of a sudden turn into somebody else. You must be 18 years or older, as I stated earlier, and this includes a tour of the flight facility. So you get to go all day. It's like a build-up to actually getting on the helicopter. Huh? Maybe I'll even tell you where I'm playing golf that day. I'll wave at you as you fly over. We're going to $300. Anybody for $300? Right there, $300. Anybody for $500? $500. $500. Okay, $500 right there. Anybody for $700? Huh? I mean, it's a breakfast. We're trying to end this, get you out of here, so let's spend some money. $700 right there. Anybody for, say $1,000. That's $700,000. $1,000. Two people now. Yeah, that's two people. That's like, you know, come on, it's like flying Southwest. You get them good deals. $1,000. Anybody? $1,000. So what we at right now? I lost track. We're at $700. So okay, 700 going once. All right, 700 going twice. So for 700.
Now it's the sports package. And if it gets high enough, you can throw in like a meter.
Yeah, okay. All right. Now I take this personal, this next one. All right. So you all, who was that game 7 last year? And if you watched it on TV, it doesn't matter. Raise your hand. Huh? Disturbing, wasn't it? I was so happy I didn't have to call that game. I would have got up and left. Well, here's a unique package, though. All right? Guess what this package includes? It includes that very team that destroyed our summer, the Dallas Mavericks. All right? So this package is the opening night, okay? 2 tickets, third row. Third row. All right? You're going to get an autographed ball from me. I'll sign it right now so you know it's me. All right? Photo now so you know I signed it. I don't know how much money you get. I mean, I could like kind of make it look like Magic Johnson, but it's Eddie Johnson.
This is the game. That's wrong.
Oh, March 11th. I'm sorry, it's not opening night. I'm sorry. But still, Dallas. All right, opening night, 2 tickets. All right, and it includes this as well, right?
Correct.
Wow. 4 Arizona Diamondback 2023 season tickets, okay? Section K, row C, right behind home. Let's take that. I might shoot it. Huh?
This is the home plate suite.
It's a home plate suite. Each seat has $10 of D-bucks, valet parking included, and it's valued at $600. So all of this, right? This is a full package. The full package. Tremendous. $500. We're going to start the bidding. $500 right there. Anybody? We'll go 200 early on. I'll try to get some people involved. $500. Anybody for 700? There's $700 right there. There's 2 $700. Can I get a $900 back in there? Okay, we're going to go 1,000 now. $1,000. Anybody? 1,000. We got $3,000. How are we going to do that if we got 3? Let's go 1,200. 1,200. I feel bad when 3 people hold their hand up for 1,000. I want to, do something. That's a 1,200 right there. 1,500. 1,500. Anybody? 1,500 for that young man right there. Did you hold your hand up over back there too, or you just stretching? Oh, okay. All right. 1,500. Anybody for 2,000? We're gonna go 500s now. That's 1,500. Anybody for 2,000? Beautiful sports package. Come on. Beautiful sports package. You don't know what you might see this year. Like I told you, you might see Amazon trucks all around our arena.
2,000 right there.
2,000, right there, $2,000. Anybody for 2,500? 2,500? 2,500. Anyone? Beautiful sports package. You might see me one of my tight Italian suits down there. Anybody? Going once. Anybody? Going twice. So. Oh, please. That's fine. I charge for that too. We got to add the 500. Just kidding. I can't thank you enough for joining us this morning. My 2nd year in a row doing this. I thoroughly enjoy it. So thank you all for having me and putting up with me. and my little corny joke at the beginning, but again, I had to give you something with the sons. Because I have to get out of here when this is over, so I don't want like 100 people grabbing me like, what's going on, Eddie? I have to go. I still work for them, so I got to watch what I say, all right? But again, I can't thank you enough, and for your generosity as well. I would like to invite John and Stacy, though, back up for a special announcement first before I do close.
Thank you, Eddie. Wait for John here. I realize that we have asked you guys for a lot today, monetarily, but I'm going to ask you to open your wallets one more time. Can we go to the next slide, please? Some of you may known Jade Richard. She was a survivor here in Arizona. Aatn did a lot of work with her. She unexpectedly passed away this summer, a month after graduating with her bachelor's degree. She was a survivor leader here. She had went through the Dream Center program. She was an amazing light and a show of hope for our survivor community. We have decided to honor her legacy, and we are supporting a scholarship fund, and if you see on your envelopes there, you can check that box. The fund will support the education of survivors of human trafficking who are pursuing a higher education, a trade school, an advanced certificate, or other career readiness programs. Not all survivors want to go to college. Some of our scholarships that we have for survivors require that they go full-time on campus at 12 credit hours. That's a lot for someone who's endured so much trauma. Many of our survivors of human trafficking often do not have education beyond a GED. Your partnership would help them begin their higher education or job trainingness courses that would help them towards self-reliance, becoming economically empowered, and obtaining livable employment. The scholarship is designed for those who've experienced exploitation of human trafficking through the commercial sex industry or through labor trafficking as defined by the US government. I will personally be donating $1,000 right now to that scholarship fund to get us kicked up and going, to make an impact here in Arizona, and I would encourage you, even if it's just a little bit, let's get this started off the right foot and help our survivors move forward. Thank you.
Okay, now we'll close and get you out and on your way. Again, thank you for your generosity. And just please give your completed pledge cards to your table captain, or you can leave them in the basket at the registration table on your way out. All right, silent auction winners, please visit the registration table on your way out as well to collect your items. And congratulations to the Game Changer Award honorees, right? What a well-deserved honor. And thank you again to the staff and board of Aatn and to our sponsors that made our second annual breakfast possible. So I hope you all get to work safely, home safely, wherever you're going, and we look forward to seeing you next year.